Hi, this is Lori at the Country Cropper, and today I'm going to show you how to make a monochromatic card. I am in a couple card swaps, and this year one of my groups decided that each month we were going to learn a new technique, and then that is what we would use on our cards for the following month. So this was from, I taught this in February, and then these were our March cards. So I decided to share this out. I had so much fun doing it. The problem is when I did my March card, I believe I used the color green, which was great. The card turned out just fine, but my absolute favorite color is purple. So when I decided to make this video, I decided I was going to pull out purple, and oh my gosh, I fell in love with this card. I can't stop looking at it. I'm gonna have to make a bunch more. So it's just my opinion that I really like this one. It's my favorite one so far that I've been doing. And so I used purple. Obviously, I used a darker purple color for the background for my card base, and then I used a lighter purple for the mat, and then I used the same dark purple for the back tag, and then I used a different shade of purple for the front tag and for the little spot for my sentiment. So anyway, everything is in purple today. So I will share with you a couple of the products that I use before getting started to show you how to put the card together. So for the tags, I used Close to My Heart's June 2020 Stamp of the Month Garden Tags, and I love this stamp. I have been using it on several different cards in different ways. I've done an ink smushing technique and then stamped this directly on. I've cut it out. There's a set of tags, thin cut tags that you can also purchase to go with this. But the nice thing is it's some pretty straight cuts for two of them, and then just a little bit of rounding on these. So if you do not have the tag set, you can still get this and still cut out, you can still fussy cut the tags. So I used that for both of these tags. I used the thin cut for this tag. I could have stamped it, cut it out, and just flipped it over, and that would work too if I did not have the thin cuts. And then the other stamp set that I use, this one has become one of my favorites too. I haven't played around with the rest of this, but I loved this flower, and I was not going to order this until I saw a couple other things done with it. And this flower has just impressed me. So, I can show you, I used it actually to do an ink smushing, and I'm not done with these cards yet, but I used it on the ink smushing, and I did blue, purple, and green on here and lined up my flowers, so I really don't have to color in the flowers because they're already purple, and I don't necessarily have to color in the leaves. I could go up in here on the stem if I wanted to, but I like the simplicity of this. I was able to stamp it right down on here, and so I've had fun playing with this stamp set. But I use this saying down here at the bottom. It says, it's the little things that mean so much. And so dragonflies are fairly little. Some of them can get pretty big, but I felt like that saying tied in with this pretty well. For my ink, I used an old Close to My Heart ink pad. The color is Gypsy. This has been my all-time favorite shade of purple, but if you do not have, it's kind of like a grape. So if you can't get a hold of the Gypsy ink, which we don't carry that shade anymore, you could use Pansy, which is very close to, but it's more of a, it's more muted. It's not that bright grape color, but you might be able to find an ink pad that is that true bright purple and use that. You could duplicate this card in every color that you have. I could have done this all in yellow. I can do this all in blue or green, whatever color I want. But again, purple is my favorite color, so that's what I went with. I also used For the saying, I did use black ink. So when you're doing a monochromatic card, if your saying is in black, that is just fine. I could have done a white card base. That is just fine. So you can use your neutral colors along with one shade of a color. So don't think that your card has to be everything like mine. If I would have stamped this in purple, then I literally would have had everything done in purple. But don't feel like you have to do that. You can have neutral colors in here and it is still considered a monochromatic card. Some people consider a monochromatic card one that's done only in neutrals, but monochromatic really means one color. So neutrals can be added in there with no problem, and so play around with it and see what you like the best. I've seen a lot of people do like a black and white card for it, and that is fine too. So I'm going to start with my mat that's going to go on the top of my card base, and I use this little floral stamp, and I am probably not going to make it look exactly the same as the other one, and that's okay. I want my cushion mat underneath of here, and if I sound hesitant, it's because I'm looking for my scrap paper, but I really want my scrap paper down because I'm going to stamp off the page. So that's also another technique that you can use for your cards, is stamping off the page. So I'm going to ink this up on my Gypsy ink pad, and making sure that I don't have any ink on the edges. If I do, I want to make sure I use my chamois and wipe that off and get it off of there before I stamp it down on my paper. But I'm going to ink this up, and then I'm just going to start placing flowers. So I'm just going to kind of start here in the corner, put one there, and I am going to do the whole page, even though you're not going to see this, just because I'm not exactly sure where I want to put my tag. I mean, I do for this one, but when I'm starting, I might not know exactly where I want to go. So there you can see I stamped off the page, and then I'm just placing the flowers in different spots, trying to keep them evenly spaced apart, but I don't always do the best at that. If I make any mistakes, you can definitely fix it. You can cover it up with something. Like there, I got a little bit of ink on there, but it's going to be covered with the tag. This one will come down a little bit more, and then I'm going to do one just. You can see that does the very edge of that stamp. There's more of the stamp on the page than there is on here. And so I'm just going to ink that up. Make sure you wash off your stamps and replace them on your backing. And I'll do that later. Next, I already went ahead to save some time, and I stamped this. I ran it through and use the thin cuts to cut these out so that they're ready to go. And I am going to place them together. And I want a little bit of that angle there. So I'm gonna go, I figure like maybe right about there. So I'm gonna hold let me move this off of here for you. I'm gonna hold my finger right here because I don't want any of the glue to go beyond that. And I'm just going to run some tape on here, and then I'm going to line that circle up again and place that down. And actually, I want it over to the left just slightly. Okay, so moved it just a little bit before I completely press down on that. And then I am going to take, I just use whatever I have. I could have used ribbon for this, but I had this twine that was in almost that, like it's just a little bit darker than the backing. And so again, I just got into my stash, like use up what you have. Because this is a good time with us being home, or a lot of us being home anyway, to use up our stash. So I'm just simply going to tie a knot up here, just like I'm tying my shoe. So get that initial part done, and then do it again. Just tie another loop through there. And I don't tie it too tight because I don't want to tear my papers. And I can also adjust this. So I don't want it clear up here at the top. I kind of want it down here at the bottom, so when I place this down, I don't have a big knot underneath of my tag. And then I learned by mistake that I need to have one pair of scissors that I only cut ribbon with, because once you use your other scissors on paper, they tend to not work so well on ribbon after a while. And I could never remember which pair of scissors I used for my fabric or for my ribbon, so I took a piece of washi tape and I labeled it. Just a little tip for those of you that are like me and can't remember which pair of scissors are for which product, or for which materials. So I cut this. I am probably going to cut it down a little bit more once I put it on my card, but I have it ready to go. Now the last thing I need to do on this tag is right here, I stamped that flower one more time to kind of tie it in. If I could get really careful and have the layout so that it matches up with the rest of how I inked those up, but I'm not gonna do that. It would take me a long time. So I'm gonna ink up my flower again, and again I'm gonna go off the page, and I'm just gonna come down in the corner. I'm gonna stamp that there. And it is purple. It looks kind of black right now because it's darker. It's darker than the paper. So it makes it stand, at least makes it stand out on that purple a little bit better. Okay, next I am going to glue down the mat to the base. So I have my base card cut already. I like to do my cards in a 5.5 by 4 1/4 size. So my lighter colored paper, my mat, I did in 5 1/4 by 4, or vice versa. And I believe I did it this way to begin with. You can tell when your blade is getting dull if there's some little fringes on there. So be sure to check your blade on your cutters and keep those nice and sharp so you get a clear cut every time. I need obviously to replace my blade, but I'll try to make it last as long as possible and just cut. So for me, I go all the way around the edges, and I probably glue too much. I know some people just do little sections of it, but I'm kind of picky, so I do the whole thing. And then I do a cross through the middle, or an X through the middle to hold that middle section in. And then I never measure. I just kind of eyeball, and I'm going to place that in the center. So I love this. Like, I could just put a sentiment on this card, maybe in the middle, and send it like this. I could stamp up some more purple flowers on there and have some fun with that. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get this tag put down. And because I was stamping on it for you, I was not able to get this ready, but my son works at 3M, and he brought me a nice gift one day. I have so much foam tape, I can pop everything up. But what I usually use, and I keep this close at hand, is the 3D foam tape from Close to My Heart. And I like this because it comes in, it's got 2 sizes. And it's sticky, but it's got 2 sizes. I'll just show you from here. There's a thinner section, and then there's a thicker, a narrow and a wider set. Because this one's a little bit bigger, I'm gonna just go with the 3M Scotch tape that my son gave me, and I'm going to just cut a big piece like this, and I'm simply just gonna put it, I think I'll do 2 pieces, because I'm gonna have one over here. I don't remember how I did the other card, so as far as the 3D tape where I placed it. So I'm gonna put this one right here. And that will kind of even it out a little bit so it doesn't bow on there anywhere. Okay, then I'm gonna decide where I want this. And I kind of just want it, you know, at an angle here. I gotta leave room for my saying. So I'm going to put the saying down there. That'll help. I'm gonna go right about here. And as you can see, the twine is going to go over the top of that. So here's where I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. It might still stick out above the card, but that's okay. If you mail it, it will be down just a little bit. And if you give it to someone, it'll be in the envelope. So it doesn't matter if it's over the top, over the edge. Okay, so I have that done. And I also to save some time, I went ahead and I stamped this up. And then when I cut it, I just dovetailed the ends. I know that there's thin cuts and different tools that you can use to do those, but I just do it by hand. Okay, so I peeled off the foam tape, and I'm gonna line this up. Remember, I had this little smudge here, and I see I have another little one right here. So I'm going to do my best to line this up so it covers up my errors as much as possible, and then I will be the only one to know where my errors were at. So there's that part. Then I dug in my stash again, and I honestly I don't remember the exact name of these gems, but they were in my drawer, and I have one of those 10 drawer carts from, I don't know where, my mom gave it to me. Anyway, the drawers are in red, orange, green, blue, purple. And so I went through, and all my embellishments, I sort them by color. So this makes it really easy to do a monochromatic card, because all I had to do was pull open the purple drawer. I see I have a little bit of a smudge there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. But I am going to take, if you use a piercing tool, this works wonderful to go up underneath of your gems. And I think I'll use this page. I'm going to use this medium size. You just go right underneath, very carefully, right underneath of your gem, and it holds it right there for you. And I like to go in threes, 2s or 3s for my embellishments. Sometimes I'll put 2 gems on the side down here at the bottom of the card, just to kind of pull your attention, like look down here and then open the card up. But a trio is actually recommended the most. It's very visually appealing to your senses. Okay, so I'm gonna come up here. I kind of have a large spot. I'm gonna put that down right there. And then I'm gonna come over here because I kind of want that triangle going on. And I'm just gonna place it right there for now. And then the last one, I am going to, on here I hadn't stamped the flower there, so I was able to go right in that corner. But on this one, I kind of need to just go in, maybe right there. And you can play around if you like them in different spots. Maybe you want to do 3 in the corner or 2 in the corner, however you want to do that. I could go in and I could use a light purple and color the petals. But I really don't want to. I kind of like that as the background. On the inside of my card, one thing that I like to do is, some people will stamp directly on here, because if you use black, it's going to show up just fine. But I really like to just take a lighter color, usually white, but since this one, I did this light color purple on the front, I used the same color, and I am just simply going to put that on the inside. I could stamp some more of the flowers on the inside. I could put the tag, I could stamp a tag directly on there. Play around with the inside. Make your inside of your card just as visually appealing as the front of your card. While I'm doing this down, I'll tell you, I made a Mother's Day card for my mom, and she keeps looking at the card because on the inside, I actually took my paper and I covered the whole inside with a trim around the outside. And then I had a farm scene. So I had a silo and a barn, and I had some little pigs and a truck, and I created a scene on there. And then I had a little Mother's Day saying right here for her, and she keeps opening that up. She loves that the inside is so decorated. So don't forget to decorate the inside of your cards. It's kind of fun for your, like, you might have something very simple in the front, but how fun is it to open it up and wow, you've got something totally amazing on the inside. So play around with that, have some fun. Again, if you would like to purchase any of the products that I showed that are available from Close to My Heart, you can go to my website at lorismith.closetomyheart.com, or you can also go to thecountrycropper.blogspot.com. I have a link that goes directly to my website on there, and be sure to follow me if you have any questions or want to see some more ideas for monochromatic stamping. Let me know. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.